Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here again, and the Day of Reckoning is approaching for the day before, a game that many people don't think is actually going to drop, but has a release date of November 10th. So as we approach that, I wanted to talk about the game and why I don't believe it's actually going to come out on that day, but instead we'll see another delay or something like that, because there's just been no chatter about the game since they moved it previously this year. So jumping right in, if you didn't know, the Day Before is kind of like a survival zombie looter shooter type game, but from the footage they showed, it felt very barren and empty compared to what they'd promised previously. It had originally launched as the highest wishlist game on Steam at the time. It was absolutely mind-blowing what the game looked like. It was all cinematics, to be fair, but it sounded like a concept that would be amazing. And that's when the skeptics first started jumping in. A lot of people were saying this feels too good to be true. And as time went on, I think we've been proven right. Now, jumping into what's happened since then, we've seen a bunch of different things. They've been sued for the name the Day Before and completely taken off Steam for a bit. It sounds like they're going to have to either rename the game or have a caveat with the copyright for the Day Before. I don't know what they're going to do. They can make an arrangement with the owner, something like that. It doesn't sound likely, but we'll have to wait and see. I know there were some lawsuits they were battling. They were dealing with a bunch of different issues on that front. And yeah, overall, we just haven't seen anything from the game to make me think that it is coming out on November 10th. But then what are they going to do? Are they going to just simply flat out delay the game with an announcement saying, we're sorry, the game needs more polish, and then push it back to sometime in 2024 when they're just going to probably do the same thing? Some people have even gone on to say that they think this game doesn't actually exist. Instead, it was a marketing ploy to try to generate revenue for their studio, and that it's never actually going to come out, which would be a possibility, but one that is absolutely insane to think about. And then you've got another option. They do release something on November 10th, which I think is unlikely, highly unlikely even, but they release something and it is janky, unfinished, just not quality, and they say, hey, this is what we have, and we're sorry to disappoint, and they just kind of ask for forgiveness later. Or I think they just shut it down now. They just say, okay, this didn't work. We were overly ambitious. We really wanted to try some new things, and it just didn't work out. Those are the three main options that I see happening. Either they release a underwhelming, janky product. Maybe they release it into early access, which would be an interesting way to go about it and say, listen, we want to make this game with you all. Make it better over time, throw together whatever they've been working on over the last year since they actually started getting all this attention, and just say, hey, here's what we got, go to town, and we're going to improve it over time. I don't believe that is the case, but that is a scenario I could definitely see happening. Same thing goes with the pushing back of the date. That's the most likely scenario, in my opinion, is that they push it to like April, May of next year, maybe even June, and they say, okay, we want to make sure we get this right. And then that time comes around and they push it back even more. I think this is an inevitable cycle. It reminds me of what's happening with Skull and Bones, which also has a release date now for early next year, but has been teased and promised so many times by now. I don't think anyone believes it at this point. I don't think anyone's going to pre-order the game or jump into a game and be excited about it until they see what is actually happening. There's been too many false promises, too many delays, and too many people looking at this game knowing that what they want doesn't actually exist in the way that they want it. Like I said, when we were looking at the gameplay footage for the Day Before, it looks so empty and not what I think everyone was expecting it to be. It felt like almost a survival horror type game, but it was supposed to be multiplayer, very polished, have a variety of different options, not only for locations and enemies and weapon types and things to loot and all that kind of stuff, but it felt like almost more zombie Tarkov like than I think what anyone had anticipated from the footage that we had seen previously. And that's the unfortunate reality of the game as it stands right now, is there's so much we just don't know, and it's all speculation because the developers haven't given us any new information in so long, and we're just left to wonder what is going to happen with this game. I'm very curious because, like I said, I believe firmly that this game is not going to fully release on November 10th. It is very last minute for them to do another delay. Like, we are only about 2 weeks out from the game supposedly dropping, and that's why I wanted to make this video. Is the closer we get to this game, the more I wonder what exactly they're going to do with it, how they're going to handle this release date. And yeah, would I love it if they would surprise us with an amazing launch, a fantastic game, and we get another banger in 2023? Of course I would. I just don't have high expectations for that at this point because of everything that we've seen so far. Nothing leads me to believe that we're actually going to get a fun, complete, exciting game that is going to change our 2023 and what we think about games for sure. It just feels like they've been dragging us along for quite some time. They haven't shown us any of the meat and potatoes of the game that we need to see in order to get really, really excited once again. And overall, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens, because I think it's almost like watching a train wreck. You never know what direction it's going to take, but it's hard to take your eyes off of it. So anyway, my name is JoPa. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think is going to happen with the day before in the comments down below. I'll definitely continue covering the game until we get a resolution, which is either going to be soon or we'll get delayed and we'll do this all over again in a few months. Anyway, my name is JoPa. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.